The first sentence under Hong Kong's national security law has been announced. Pro-democracy activist Tong Ying-kit was found guilty of terrorism and inciting secession. Earlier this week, he has now been given 9 years in prison. Tong is the first person to be charged and sentenced under China's controversial national security law. He was accused of the charges after he drove a motorbike into a group of policemen last year while carrying a flag calling for revolution in Hong Kong. For more on this, let's bring in DW correspondent Phoebe Kong, who is following this story in Hong Kong, of course. Phoebe, the pro-democracy activist has received 9 years in prison. That's a very harsh sentence. Does this come as a surprise?
Well, it's harsher than many expected, and given that this is the very first sentence on the national security cases regarding the two offences that the 24-year-old committed and convicted, that about the offence of incitement to secession, the court ruled like 6.5 years imprisonment, that according to the guidelines of the national security law, that the court considers his act as a serious breach, like referring to his act of displaying the flag bearing a protest slogan, Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our times. And other than that, like about the committing terrorist activities offence, that the court has given 8 years imprisonment to the 24-year-old defendant, that according to the guidelines, it is considered as a relatively less serious breach regarding like terrorism. And the panel of 3 judges order the defendant to serve the 2 jail sentences. Some part of the sentences have to be served consecutively, so that's why a total of 9 years imprisonment.
So can he appeal this sentence?
Yes, he can make appeal, and he will have some time to consider whether to make an appeal or not. And this is only the first trial that his case can also be tried in the Court of Appeal and also the Court of Final Appeal. But we have to wait for the decision from the lawyers and the defendants. And it was very emotional inside the courtroom, that reportedly his family burst into tears after hearing the sentences, and the 24-year-old defendants responded by shouting "hang in" to other audiences inside the courtroom. And this case also raises concerns over Hong Kong's independent judiciary and tells the new normal of the judiciary system under the national security law, that this case is tried by a panel of 3 judges handpicked by Hong Kong's Chief Executive Carrie Lam instead of a jury. So this is a very different practice from other criminal offences here, like heard in a high court. And also Tong Ying-kit was repeatedly denied bail. So all these changes were criticized by critics, that this is a kind of departure from the common law tradition in Hong Kong and also the independent judiciary system. But also on the other hand, the government defended that it has nothing to do with the erosion of rule of law, and say that this is still in line with the rule of law principle.
Phoebe Kong there, reporting from Hong Kong. Thank you, Phoebe.